Hello everyone, and welcome back. We got the boat pulled out of the water, and we're working on the bottom and installing the wind vane, and we've also got some damage to repair. Let's start off with looking at how we pull a boat out of the water by watching the travel lift take my boat and bring it over here on dry land. So this big blue thing is called a travel lift. You can see it's open in the front, closed in on the back. That allows you to pick up a boat that has a big mast on it without having to take the mast down. And it travels right along these openings where the boat pulls in. And then once they're done cleaning the bottom, they'll put it on some jack stands. The men are cleaning the bottom. This is a standard procedure. They scrape off the barnacles and then they power wash. Oh, there she is with a clean bottom. Okay, let's take a walk around the boat now that we've got it out of the water and the bottom has been cleaned. Of course, all of this bottom is going to be sanded down, and then we'll put on new bottom paint. This area that's been sanded off is an area that I'll talk about in just a minute. It's an area of damage. And then I've got a transom hung rudder. As you can see here, this is the transom, or the stern of the boat, and then this is the rudder. And you can see the propeller right in there. That's going to get cleaned off today. Also, the name of the boat is going to get changed while we're here on the hard, which is what we call it when you pull the boat out of the water. And the bottom paint color is going to be changed to red. Bottom paint has a very high copper content in it, and that helps to repel the algae and the barnacles that want to grow on the bottom of your boat, especially when you have it in salt water. And these little holes that you see through the hull here are called through holes. This is the intake for the toilet, the water intake, and this is the exhaust for the toilet. 2 through holes I no longer need, so I'm going to cap those off because I don't have a regular toilet anymore. There's also a little spinner wheel down here. You can see right here. That's to determine how fast I'm going. That's called a knot log. And then here near the stern of the boat, we've got another through hull. That's an exit for the scuppers. And we've got a through hull here. That's an exit for the sink in the galley. And then we've got this block here, this fairing block. This is for the depth sounder. You can look down up in there and see that little plug thing. That's the transducer for the depth sounder. And this particular fairing block is to help the water go by the boat when you're going through the water without it impeding the flow. So that kind of gives you a look at the outside. We've got a lot of work to do, and I've got a helper who will be joining me to do some of the easy work. Her name is Claire, and you'll get to meet her a little later on today and maybe watch her work a little bit. She'll also make sure that I eat a decent meal and various things like that. Claire and her partner live on a trawler here, and I'm renting a room from them on the trawler, or actually a bed, for $20 a day so that I don't have to stay in the boat here on the hard. Okay, so we've got a damaged area down here next to the keel. You can see this piece of wood that is exposed that I've been sanding on. And this damage has been caused by teredo worms because the boat was right up against some mud in a shallow area for the last 2 years. And so we're going to cut out all of this wood and replace it, and then we'll be good as new. It'll be a real pain in the neck, but it's a job that needs to be done right, and so that's what we're working on now. So this is Claire. She's doing all the hard work.
Can I flip you off on you?
Taping stuff. She's also making sure I keep fed and hydrated and watered and stuff like that. Good morning, everyone. Today is start of day 3 on the hard. Today we're going to start painting the bottom. We're going to start removing the dead wood, and we're going to start on the wind vane, which arrived yesterday. Okay, we got the monitor unpackaged, and most of the peanuts are still in the box. When Claire comes to work, I'll have her bag all those peanuts up and seal the bags so that they don't end up all over the yard out here, because that would make quite a mess. And she'll also check the box and make sure there's nothing left in it. So I guess it's time to start getting started and start mounting this puppy. We're making progress here. Claire is over here doing the bottom paint, and then we're working on the dead wood down here at the same time. This is Dana.
What's that?
He's a carpenter. And this is a piece of the dead wood that we cut out. And you can see the worms really got to it. Not a pretty sight. Okay, so we got a lot of the dead wood cut out. You can see the keel bolts hanging down through the bottom down there. And then we still have a piece to cut out where the blocking is, where the keel is sitting on that blocking. We're going to have the boat picked up tomorrow by the travel lift, and we're going to start fitting in the new deadwood, a new shoe on the bottom of the boat, and that will be tomorrow. And that will be a really exciting day, but today was a good day. We got bottom paint on most of the boat, except for this area down here where we're working. No big deal. We'll get the bottom paint on there soon enough. But you can see that everything is looking really good. And I'm really pleased with a day's work by 3 people. We really got a lot done. It was a good day. And then back there on the monitor, the wind vane, I erected a scaffolding type affair. And then the monitor is just tilted up there. Tomorrow we'll start to fit in some of the fittings and start getting everything set up for mounting the monitor on the transom. So this is our new piece of deadwood that we're laminating up. You can see we've got a bunch of clamps on here. And we've got a couple of boards laminated together to make a height of 2 1/4 inches. And then a couple of boards laminated on the outside to make a width of at least 10 1/2 inches for part of the length. And then you can see it narrows down to about 8 inches down here, which we don't even need that much. So this will sit here and go ahead and harden up throughout the night. And then tomorrow we'll take off all of the clamps and get ready to install. So kind of exciting times here. Okay folks, we're going to call that the end of part 1, and we'll resume here tomorrow with part 2. If you would, please give us that old thumbs up icon, or like-a-roo as I like to call it. If you haven't subscribed yet, you might want to consider subscribing. We'll have some really fun cruising videos coming up soon as we go from St. Thomas to Charleston, South Carolina on our first hop. And so we'll come back and finish up the work on the bottom here in the next video.